Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, Life Odysseys. Well, I'm still trying to get used to these teeth, so if I sound funny, you can laugh all you want. I don't care. Well, today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this excavator hydraulic cylinder I've been dealing with. I put out a part one of that video, so this is probably going to be part two. Man, that thing really give me a run for the money getting that cylinder out of that excavator. That pin was froze up there. The back pin comes up through the bottom. I made a mistake saying take that bolt out underneath and that pin should drop right out of there. Boy, that was a mistake. It was frozen there pretty hard. I thought I wasn't going to get it, but I finally did. So I got it out. So yesterday, I didn't film any of that yesterday. I attempted to get the cylinder apart, take the gland nut off. It wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. Forgot to say hello to Maggie Poo Poo. Look at her over there. It's pretty nice out here today. It's still pretty wet and muddy, but it's nice. Before we get too much further, I need to remind everybody to subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. All that's very important to my channel. It helps my channel grow, and I want it to grow. So if you would please help me out and subscribe and share, because it's very important to me. So back to the cylinder. I got it sitting here in front of me. I'm going to show you here in a minute. But I had it up on the bench yesterday. It was something that I was going to video, but I decided not to. It was just, I knew it was going to be a deal. So I messed with it for about 2 hours. The main problem is I didn't have a good way to hold it. My vise is old, and I ended up breaking it. The end of the gland nut was messed up to begin with. The spanner wrench wasn't going to get it. I tried the biggest pair of pipe wrench I had, and it just wasn't going to get it. So after a couple hours, I decided, well, I'm going to have to take this somewhere and get this gland nut loose, because there's no way I can do it. Well, I'm glad I did, because and almost waited too late in the day to do it. But I called this place about an hour from me, told him my dilemma. I needed this gland nut taken loose from the cylinder. I can't get it loose because I'm wanting to reseal it. So he was kind of hesitant to do it for me, at short of notice, but I talked him into it. So I threw it in the back of the car and drove up there, and I'm sitting out there on the bumper of my car watching this, and I'm thinking, I don't know if they're going to get it or not. I mean, it was that bad. It was terrible. So they had it in this, the way they hold all the cylinders to take them apart, and this guy put this big pipe wrench on it. And before I took it up there, I had the cylinder, the rod all taped up so it wouldn't get messed up. But he put this big pipe wrench on it and started, pushing on it. And it wasn't budging. So then he put a piece of pipe on this. And I'm telling you, this pipe wrench he had almost took 2 guys to pick it up. That's how big it was. And then, when it wouldn't budge that way, he put a piece of pipe on it. Well, then he was having trouble with it slipping off, because there's this very little edge of that gland nut that you're catching before it's against the barrel of the cylinder. So the guy I talked to, he come out there and give him a hand, and he stood there and helped hold the pipe wrench straight, straight without falling over, while this guy was putting pressure on it. And I'm telling you, it took all he had to push it on this pipe wrench. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, we ain't out of the woods yet. Because the alternative would be, if you can't get it apart, you're going to have to buy a whole new cylinder. And I didn't want to do that. So he got another bite on it and tried it again. It's starting to move a little bit. And he kept pushing on it. So finally it started moving very so slowly. And he just kept working at it, and it kept moving a little at a time. But I still was sitting there thinking, I don't know if they're going to get this or not. So I kept watching them. They kept working on it. So finally, they ended up getting it to come loose. And so I went in there and I told him, I said, there ain't no way in the world I was ever going to get that. There was no way. And he said, yeah, some of them are pretty tough. So a big shout out to them guys, because they helped me out, to spur of the moment. So, so I talked them into running the nut off the end of the rod for me real quick with their impact. That way I wouldn't, in case I get it home and you can't get that nut off, because it's sometimes them suckers are on there tight. So I proceeded to talk to him about this. And videos I've watched, like the big nut on the end needs to be torqued at a certain amount, and the glad nut needs to be tight. In which I thought right from the get-go, and I confirmed it with him, the gland nut doesn't have to be tight. It just needs to be run up there and good and snug. It's not, that gland nut is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to loosen up. It's just not. The same with the nut on the end of the rod. I'm going to put it on there with a 1/2-inch impact and give her a few hammers on it, and that's all it's getting. It ain't going to come off. It's not going to come off. So anybody that says it is, I disagree. So I got another beer. That's Poppy. Hi, Poppy. Where's your sister? You smell where Maggie Poo Poo sitting? Yeah. So I got it home, got it cleaned up, and went from there. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you this nut. So I ended up having to order a new gland nut for it, because the threads, it all galled it up when they was taking it out. Which I told him when I got there, I said, listen, I don't care if you destroy it, I just need it out of there. But let me turn it around here and I'll show you. So there it is. Now, some of this damage, like that through there, was already there. And there's a spot like that on the other side. But where that's all chewed up, that was done yesterday. Trying to get that sucker out. And as you can see, I'm not going to try to turn it around, but the threads they're worse on the other side. It's junk. It's just a miracle got it out. So this thing right here, when you screw it in the end of this barrel, right here, it don't need to be tighter than you know what. It just needs to be running there, snugged up, and that's all it needs. It's all it needs, folks. And then this nut here, I had them go ahead and zip this nut off, because sometimes they can be pretty tight. They got Loctite and stuff in it. Same with this nut. Run it in there and tighten it up a little bit, and that is good enough. That's all it needs. Plus, it's got Loctite on the new nut anyways. So I got there's the seal kit, and the reason why you're wondering why there's two is because I got them for $22 a piece, so I went ahead and bought an extra one just in case me messes up an O-ring or something putting it on. So it's worth $22 to have a little bit of insurance. So there that is. That's ugly, ain't it? Very ugly. So yeah, the gentleman charged me. I told him on the phone before I went. I said, listen, I don't care what it costs. I just need it out of there. And I think he could hear from my voice that I was pretty aggravated about the deal. And I hate to say it again, but I was never going to get that out. Never in a million years was I going to get that out of there. So I told him I didn't care what it cost. So when it come time to sell up, he charged me $75 to do it. And I threw a 20 on the counter and told him, I said, that's for you. He didn't want to take it, but I said, well, then share it with the other guy back there. So, that ain't much. But it does show my appreciation for being able to get that off at a spur of the moment notice. You know what I mean? I didn't care about driving the hour. That didn't bother me a bit. So let's go out here and I'll show you what's on the agenda for today, and then we'll go from there. I don't know where Maggie went. She's around here somewhere. So here's the fuel tank. I had to take the fuel tank out because of the pin being froze up, and but the manual says after all that, I went in and checked, looked at the manual, and it says the cylinder has to come out before the fuel tank. So I kind of had to force this thing out of there. I hope I didn't screw it up anywhere, but at the time I just had to keep going. I had to do what I had to do. Well, there's a drain plug right there, and I didn't know that was there. And I think I had my screwdriver somewhere around there when I was prying on that. I may have messed that rubber grommet up. I got a couple new ones coming, but I'm going to get this tank cleaned up today. Today's going to be like a cleaning day, and I'm going to work on getting that pin loosened up underneath there. But you can see it's a mess. It's a mess. That's the top side. But this filler neck right here, this filler neck sits on top, right on top of this pin, that hole where that pin is. Let me turn the light on for you. That hole right there, it sits right over that. So when you're standing here looking in there, when it's together, you can't see the top of that pin. So I've been spraying that pin down there. You can see the pin's just barely below the surface. So I've been spraying stuff in it. So anyways, today, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to get this cleaned up. And it looks good compared to what it looked like. So, and once I get it cleaned up, depending on what I'm thinking about, I may be able to go ahead and get the tank back in it. Because my parts is not going to be here for a few days. But there's a lot here I need to be doing to get ready. I could probably put the controller and stuff back in the way it goes. Yeah, I just put that ratchet strap on there. Put the loop up through the roof up there to hold that up. Sometimes you do what you got to do, right? So the pin down there, I don't know if I'll try to film any of that or not today. It's just too hard to see what's going on. But that's where we stand with that. So I got that to clean up. Then I got some other parts over here, and I could get cleaned up, and we'll go from there. But yeah, my back, I got lower back issues, folks. It's been hurting for a long time. Been dealing with that. So, I've been working on losing some weight. I've lost 25 pounds, believe it or not, since first part of July. So getting down here on this ground here. It's not as hard as it was, but it's still tough to do than to lay up underneath there and try to deal with a frozen pin. But I've been soaking that sucker, so it should be pretty good to go. But it's kind of muddy out here. Just to give you a quick view. It's kind of muddy. I got to get this excavator fixed because I'm going to need it for that project I've been working on up there on the hill up there. I got to get that finished up and probably get some dirt put in here. So I'm gonna get busy. I cleaned up my workbench and stuff and put some tools away. Man, the tools was a mess. So, but that's the update for right now, and I'll be back here in a little bit and give you another update, show you about the pen. Hopefully I get it freed up and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, folks. It's gonna get greasy again. Stand by. All right, folks, I'm back. That's probably about 4 hours later. I'm gonna give you an update. It ain't going as fast as I want it to go, but I ran into some things that I fixed that I'm glad I caught. But I probably should have, because I got the replacement tubes anyways for this fuel tank. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, I got it cleaned up. Looks a lot better. A lot better. So there's the new plug bushing I put in. I had bought some Bobcat stuff over the last couple of years, and I'd buy a few extra things I thought maybe I'd need, and I just put an order into Bobcat for some stuff. And two of those things, well, I got two of them, but one of them was that bushing for the bottom of that tank. So I thought, well, I'll go in there and look in that box and see what I got. Can you believe I had one of them new bushings in there for that? Not only that, the fuel lines that go down in the tank. Here's the pickup. And there's a tube that's on the bottom of that, runs down, it's got a filter on it. This is just a return. So I'd run into this before with the Bobcat. It quit running on me one day. Act like it run out of fuel. Well, the tube running in here, right at the bottom of this fitting, would break off and the tube would drop to the floor of the tank, and then you'd just be drawing air. So when I was in there, took that bushing out, was going to put a new one in, I just thought, well, let me get a light and look up in there. Well, there's what I found up in the bottom of the tank. Was this piece and all these little pieces. This one was the one, believe it or not, that was still hooked to this. But as I was looking up in there, it started bending. This all happened while I was looking up in there. And it started bending. And it broke and fell down the bottom of the tank. Thunder. But it fell down the bottom of the tank. So then, there you go. So believe it or not, I tipped the tank up and got everything to come out of this hole right here. Plus, I gained a couple filters. Usually what happens in the field, if that happens in the field, the guy will just come, pull this out. Of course, the tube won't be on it because it's in the bottom of the tank, plus that filter, where you can't get it out. So they'll just put a new filter on, a new line, and push it up on this fitting and put it back in, and leave whatever's in the tank in the tank. I mean, I agree. It'd be a pain in the ass to have to pull the tank every time just to pull that. That ain't worth it. Just leave it lay in the bottom of the tank. Ain't hurt nothing. So I bought a package of these new bushings that I didn't know I had. That's them right there. Those two. That one is the one for the bottom of the tank, and I had those, believe it or not. And like I said, I gained a couple of filters. So when I bought the new hose, I couldn't just buy enough for one. I had to buy a whole gaggle of them from Bobcat. I mean, this is more of that ridiculous crap. I don't know if you can see that. Look how many of them I had to buy to get them shipped over, shipped. They wouldn't just send one. I don't remember how many's in there, 25 or something like that. I don't know, it don't matter. But yeah, I had to buy all those, which I guess I'm glad. But I bought them for the Bobcat. I didn't have the excavator yet. But it takes the same hose. So if I run into the problem with the Bobcat again, I can't remember. It seems to me like I used a piece of plastic airline to fix the Bobcat. And knock on wood, I'm sure it's going to happen. It'll happen sooner or later. That's been a while. So but changing that out ain't quite as easy as it is on this excavator, because you can take the floor pan loose and take it out of the way, and you can get right to the pickup on the tank on the excavator. The Bobcat, you got to raise the cage up, climb up in there, and it's down in there by the pump, and it's a little bit more of a task. But it's not too bad, but it is what it is. So that's a quick update of where I'm at. The tank is ready to go back in now. I have not started cleaning the floor of the excavator yet, so I need to work on that. But I'm still okay, because my parts ain't gonna be here till Tuesday to get this cylinder done. So between now and Tuesday, I should be able to have the tank back in it and put the controls back where they're going. And then I just got to drop the cylinder down and then hook it up. But I still ain't fooled that pin yet, so I still got to do that. I just wanted to give you a quick status or update on what's going on. But yeah, the tank looks, compared to what it looked like, it looks brand new. Now up here's where the sensor goes in for the gauge. I think I'm going to leave it out for now, and then when I get it back in there, because I emptied the fuel out of it, I'll just put a funnel in there and put a couple gallons of fuel in it, and then put the sensor back in it. Actually, it needs a new sensor, but I just don't want to spend the money right now. It's got a warning light that comes on, says when your fuel's low, so I guess that's all that matters. But yeah, the tank looks a lot better. Let me back up. Looks a lot better. And of course, I still got this to do. So I'm gonna work on this next, and that pin. So just giving you an update. So when I get a little farther along, I'll be back with you. All right, folks, I'm back. It's working on 6 o'clock in the evening. I got that mess cleaned up down inside the excavator. I got the pin freed up. It's good and free. So when I said before about taking the bolt out and it falling out, it'll do that now. But got that all cleaned up. Found a couple other issues. I had to get back online and order some more parts from Bobcat. I'll go out here and show you what the story is. But yeah, I'm making headway now. Just about ready, waiting on parts. Look who joined me out here. The boss, Maggie Poo Poo. What are you doing, Maggie? Huh? You gonna say hi or not? All right. Let's go out here and show these fine folks what's going on. All right, so you already know I got the tank all cleaned up. It's ready to go in. Got all this cleaned up. All of it cleaned up. It's not spotless, but man, oh man, was it dirty. Yep, got all that scraped out. I put a pan underneath there. You can see. Yep, mess. So I got some other pieces I need to be cleaning up. I got the bracket that's going to bolt the fuel tank in. It needs cleaned up a little bit. A couple of the brackets, but the fuel tank's ready to sit in it. So, and I got that damn pin it's all freed up, ready to go. But there's two lines that go here. Let's see if I can get this. There's two lines that go here. This one, it's a steel line that goes around here and hooks to this one. Then there's this one. It curves around here and hooks to this one. This one here is a rubber hose that goes from here to the back of the cylinder. So here's the lines. They was all rusted. I had a little bit of trouble getting them out. One broke in half on me, but I managed to get it out. So, you know, I'm in there. Might as well do it. I hate to spend more money, but might as well do it. Get it over with. So, all right, I'm back. Yeah, I went ahead and stuck that fuel tank in there so you can see what it looks like. And that's probably going to be it for this video. So let me swing here. Don't that look pretty? It looks a lot better, don't it? Yep. And down there is where them lines go. So that shouldn't be too. I could probably put them in there, but I don't know. I'll see. I just may wait because I really ain't gonna gain much. You know, because all it is one bracket that holds that tank in. That's it. And hooking these lines up, which ain't no big deal. So I don't know. May wait. But there you have it, folks. All right. So I don't know where Maggie went. She was around here somewhere. Maggie, where you at? She'll show up. All right, folks. So that's going to do it for this video, part 2. This has been a job, that's for sure. But we're going to get her. I've been kind of lucky with the weather being wet and everything. I can't really use it, so it's a good time to fix it. But it's going to be drying up here next week, so I need to, as soon as my parts come in, I need to get her in. So part 3 might be a little bit late, but we'll get her. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. Please help me out and do it, would you please? But that's all I got for today. So for Maggie, I'm Bobby. And until next time, everybody have a great afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon.